Oh, do I have a story for you? Ignore the bedhead. I'm depressed. So I'm gonna keep pausing because I have really bad ADHD and it's super bad today. So I'm just gonna keep pausing and like re-recording. So not only have I had men tell me how periods work, but I've also had male doctors that are gynecologists tell me how that works. And it's not how it works. So at 19, I started getting a really heavy period, and it was lasting for almost 2 weeks at a time. Um, that first doctor said, you should have a kid, it'll reset your period. No, that's irresponsible. I can't take care of myself. Why would I bring a child into this world? At 19, my sister had already had a hysterectomy because of endometriosis. My grandmother had died from endometriosis because doctors didn't think to look in her uterus for cancer at the age of 82 because they already thought that she had had a hysterectomy but didn't fucking ask. We digress. Then, when I suggest that I might have endometriosis, they tell me that there's no possible way that my sister could have had it, even though she literally had a fucking hysterectomy, and that there's no way I could have it at that young of an age. So, for 3 more years, I argued with every freaking gynecologist to get me looked at. Actually, 5 years. I'm sorry. 5 years. 5 years it took me to find a doctor. 6 different doctors. Two of them, or three of them were male and three of them were female. The last female doctor was the one that took me seriously and did her job. Because I don't have kids, it's a very complicated situation, especially when you have to go to a Christian-based health, center or whatever, because, that's all how we have out here in stupid Indiana. I digress again. So then she finally like does every single step there is to do, like, internal ultrasound, external ultrasound, CT, anything and everything she could think of before actually having to do a laparoscopic surgery. She did, and when she did, my tubes were already gone. My tubes were destroyed from the endo. It was almost on my other organs. She did a DNC basically, and then um I had to be on like the shot thingy. I'm almost out of time, but then anyways, a year later I had to have a hysterectomy and now I can't have kids, and it's all thanks to doctors that thought they knew about periods, and they did not. Fuck you, doctors. Also, if you think you have endo, fight for yourself.
Okay, ladies, nah, because some of y'all have been tagging me in stories and I just can't. So I need stitches.
So I got my period in the 7th grade, and my mother, in her infinite wisdom, sent me to school with fanny pack full of my menstrual supplies because, need them. And girls' jeans didn't have pockets. So I'm in my English class, and my English teacher tells me I can't have a fanny pack. And of course, I'm embarrassed because I'm freaking out about what's in my fanny pack, so I blurt out and tell him, it's got my pads in it. He proceeds to freak out and tell the guidance counselor and a whole bunch of other people. It became a whole big thing that didn't need to, because I had to have my menstrual supplies in a fanny pack that wasn't allowed by school policy. Just, if you see a girl with a bag, don't ask.
Audacity to try and explain how a period works.
So his full question, in case you didn't know, was explain a time where a man had the audacity to explain how a period works. Now, this happened with a man and a woman, okay? And at first so I was on my period, and the cramps were so bad that pain relievers, like over-the-counter pain relievers, didn't touch it. Didn't work. I tried Midol. I tried Tylenol. I tried naproxen. I tried ibuprofen. I tried a heat pack, ice pack. I tried literally everything I possibly could. I tried different positions. I tried yoga to get rid of pain. Nothing worked. I'm telling you, nothing worked. So I told my husband I need to go to the hospital because this pain is just not going away. I need stronger shit. I need something stronger to get rid of the pain. And so he took me to the hospital, and I'm bleeding profusely. It's really bad. I'm bleeding through my clothes. And we get to the hospital, And the doctor, the first time it was a male. Okay. So he came in there and told me that, oh, they're just period cramps. They're not that bad. Take some Tylenol, go home. I had just explained to you that I tried that. It didn't work. Take ibuprofen? I tried that. It didn't work. Try heat pad? Yes, I tried that. It didn't work. I've tried everything. Oh, they shouldn't be that bad. You'll be fine. I'm like, can I get a female doctor? Because a female doctor's going to understand what I'm going through, right? Like, a female would understand what these feel like. Seriously. So I get a female doctor. Same thing. Take some ibuprofen. You'll be fine. Take some Tylenol. You'll be fine. Mix the two together. You'll be fine. No, ma'am. These are not working. They're not working. This is not how periods work. And she's like, well, if they're that bad, you need to go see a doctor. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here at the doctor, at the ER, to tell you that these are so bad I can't get rid of them. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That they're not working. Anyway, do not let someone else tell you how your periods work. Do not let them tell you that they're not that bad, because they're not in your body. They don't know how it feels. Don't let someone dictate how you're feeling. Period. Especially periods. Because we all know they suck. We all know they're painful. Anyway, that's my stitch for you, my sir.
Okay, ladies, nah, because some of y'all have been tagging me in stories and I just can't. So I need stitches.
Okay, first of all, go back and watch the original video because it's kind of incredibly funny. But to answer your question, the time that stands out for me the most is when I had hello, kitty, an actual gynecologist. I was forced to go to this man. I didn't choose it. I was a minor at the time. Hi, please don't do that to my camera. Phone, not camera. Anyway, he tried to explain to me why cramps happen. And he said it's because it's the cervix stretching to release the egg from the uterus. And that's also why it bleeds. The gynecologist said this.
Had the audacity to try and explain how a period.
So this one's a two-parter. Every time I get a little aggravated, annoyed with my husband, he's always asking me, are you on your period? Because me being reasonably upset or annoyed with him automatically equates to me being on the rag, apparently. The other is, I read that study that was done recently that equates the amount of pain a woman experiences with menstrual cramps to the same level of pain experienced by a heart attack. And my husband's response was, so every month you need to go to the hospital because you're having a medical emergency? You're in that much pain? And then I proceeded to try to explain to him that pain is a measurable thing, and it's the amount of pain, not necessarily the fact that I'm having a medical emergency. I'll just leave this one right here.
Okay, ladies, nah, because some of y'all have been tagging me in stories and I just can't. So I need stitches.
Okay, I did not have anybody who tried explaining to me how a period works, but I did have one of my best guy friends tell me that he knew my cycle better than I did. And I was like, how do you know my cycle better than I do? Because my period shows up two days before or after the full moon. He's like, well, for about a week beforehand, I cannot get away with anything. He's like, and then you're gone a day. And then you come back and you're so doped up on pain medication, I can get away with almost anything. I was like, fuck you, Brent.
Okay, ladies, nah, because some of y'all have been tagging me in stories and I just can't. So I need stitches.
So I used to work in retail, and a friend of mine and I worked there, and we had a male manager. He was informing us how, to his knowledge, tampons worked. And what was the difference between the cardboard and the plastic? He informed us that the ones that are cardboard, to his knowledge, have little holes and just suck everything up inside the cardboard. And that's why it's so uncomfortable, is you're just shoving a cardboard tube up your bits, and it magically just sucks everything inside the little cardboard tube. So we had to spend the day re-educating him on what a tampon actually was and what it actually did.
Please tell me a time that a man had the audacity.
You asked, I gotta deliver. So my ex-husband at one point, wait, backstory. Okay, I have a history of having periods that try to kill me. Like passing out because I lost too much damn blood too fucking fast. Okay, I know this. It's been my whole life. So the one time, my ex-husband, I asked him if he could go pick up some more lady products, because at least he would do that for me if I asked. He'd get the wrong ones, but at least bless his heart, he tried. And he was like, wait, didn't I just get you a box of tampons like 2 days ago? And I said, yeah, I know. I'm gonna need more. And he said, that doesn't seem right. You might want to see a doctor. I've been having these periods for like 10 years at this point, buddy. You don't think I don't know that's not right? You don't think I haven't seen a doctor? Try again. Not news to
Me a time that a man had the audacity.
I was in some pretty bad pain when I came home from school one day, and I also had some unchecked reproductive issues, and my dad was over at my mom's house when I got home to my mom's house. They were separated, and I was complaining and trying to treat what I was going through, and my dad's like, quit your whining. You know, something along that effect of, I've experienced cramps too. You don't know it, but men get these cramps that are just as bad. And I'm thinking, pretty horrible, violent thoughts at this point. I never did act on them. But I watched criminal shows, y'all.
Audacity to try and explain how a period works.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because this was one of my best friends, and he was normally a pretty decent kind of guy about a lot of things. But in this particular case, we were out camping, and we argued for probably 45 minutes about how periods don't actually hurt. Cramping doesn't actually hurt, that it's pretty much all in our heads, and it's, just a psychological thing. And what I find particularly amusing about this is that even that he passed away several years ago, so he doesn't know this or didn't know this. But we recently, of course, found out that periods actually hurt similarly to heart attacks. So, yeah, we walk around with heart attacks all the time, Yeah.
That a man had the audacity to try and explain how
periods work. Okay, let's get started. Whew. It's a long list of things. So, I was in the ER. The physician assistant that's seeing me, I was in the ER for period problems. When I told him that I am having a multitude of symptoms, he told me that it was impossible that I was having these symptoms because I'm fixed, which I just have a tubal ligation. And I was like, no, I still have a uterus and I can still have a chemical pregnancy. Like, this is a real thing. He argued with me all the way up until the nurse asked him if he was stupid.
Audacity to try and explain how a period works.
So I was in the military at this point, and I had started menstruating when I was 11, and I was 23 or 24 at this point, and I had gotten an IUD put in about 2 years previous, and I noticed that ever since I got it put in, I was having bleeding and pain between periods. So I went to see Dr. Waterman. I remember his name because he was a prick. And I told him what was happening, and I told him I thought it was because of the IUD, because I'd never had this before. And his exact words were, "You're just a little girl figuring out how your body works, figuring out your period. You just need to just leave it alone." And after he was removed for malpractice, we had a female doctor come in who said, yeah, IUDs are actually, they very commonly will like curl over and poke things they're not supposed to poke and cause pain and bleeding.
Okay, ladies, nah, because some of y'all have been tagging me in stories and I just can't. So I need stitches.
Excuse the mess, but it is my off day. So I had a doctor tell me once that I cannot feel my ovaries. I don't know when I have a cyst because women can't feel their ovaries. I proceeded to tell him he couldn't feel his balls.
Audacity to try and explain how a period works.
So I work at Burger King, right? My general manager, oh no, hang on. Never mind. So my general manager and the breakfast manager at the time, both men, both assumed that women could just control their periods and that me and the other girl in kitchen had to just have our period when we didn't feel like working and that it was painful on purpose. These motherfuckers. It pissed me off so bad. But God forbid you walk through the store holding your fucking pad when you need to go. I just can't sometimes with men. Yeah, I won't name names, but if y'all see this, you know who you are. They no longer work here, but you know who you are.
Tell me a time that a man had the audacity to try and...
Okay. One of my favorite ones of all the stupid things I've heard a man tell me about myself was that not only do we get to choose when we bleed, but we get to choose if we want to pee from where we bleed, because he was 100% convinced that the vagina was also your urethra. And he couldn't understand that we have more holes than he did. He thought I was lying. And then I'm not entirely sure if he was just being a jackass or not, because he was like, he kept asking me to prove it. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Take my pants off and show you my crotch? Like, what the fuck? And then, like, everyone heard me say that and looked at him like he was the biggest pervert. But no one said anything, which also just goes to show, you know, no one punishes men for being fucking stupid. But another really good one that has nothing to do with my period, though, was just men have no idea how hard it is to look nice as a woman, like shaving. And this one guy, I was like looking at my knee and I noticed I missed a spot where I hadn't shaved on that one spot, and I was like, I missed a spot. And he's like, how can you miss a spot? That doesn't even make any sense. So I was like, well, if you had a leg and it was a piece of paper and you cut it down the middle and laid it flat, it's not like a straight line, and the razor is a straight line. So it's easy to make that mistake every once in a while. And it was like, whoosh. It's like he couldn't compute. The turning signal of doom was floating over his forehead, and it just did not compute at all. I've also had my uncle tell me that it was rude to tell other, like specifically men, but other people, if I was in pain from my period, because it was disgusting for men to have to think about it. So he told me that I should just stop making it hurt. It was like, you're stupid. There's a lot of shit between me and my uncle, though, to be fair, so. Wow.
Please tell me a time that a man had the audacity to...
High school. I was doubled over in pain, cramping, and my male teacher said, oh, it can't hurt that bad.
I need stitches at this point. Ladies, please tell me a time that a man...
The full question was, when did a man have the audacity to try to explain what a period was to me? Don't mind the face mask. I'm treating myself. I was in 8th grade science when a male older teacher was trying to explain what a period was to a class. And at this point in my life, I've already been diagnosed with endometriosis. I always say that wrong, so it was painful. Let's just say, because he was a very nice elderly Christian man, and he was trying. It's just funny now. But I was insulted.
To try and explain how a period works to you.
Had a guy try to tell me that my hips expanding a quarter of an inch every period doesn't actually happen, that I'm faking it, and that it's not nearly as bad as I'm making it out to be. Even though I was doubled over crying in pain from cramps, bloating, and all that other shit. It felt like I was being drawn and quartered from my lower fucking half. But he was trying to tell me I was full of shit. And that periods don't work like that. Worst of all, this man was a doctor.